Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens around the world. Now, on a completely different topic, there's huge news behind all this political drama that's unfolding in South Africa. And it relates to the mining industry. And it's going to be highly damaging to the ANC and to their credibility as a political party. Because AngloGold is to shut down its South African mining operations as it announces intention to sell Mpumalanga. AngloGold Ashanti is to end more than a century of mining in South Africa, announcing today its intention to sell Mpumalanga and its surface operations. Kevin Dushinsky, CEO of AngloGold, said the group would direct investment towards other higher-yielding projects elsewhere in its portfolio. The company would retain its Johannesburg listing, although the jury is out on whether it may eventually elect to have a primary listing in another mining capital in time. Commenting on the firm's first quarter results, which were troubled by seasonal and power-related issues at the South African assets, as well as the problems at Siguri and Geita in Guinea and Tanzania, respectively. Now, obviously, when they talk about power, we're talking about Eskom, we're talking about it being whakamani'd. And they're getting out while the going's good. Dushinsky said Mpumalanga belonged in the hands of another. Based on the first quarter production of 752,000 ounces, the South African asset accounted for 12% of overall production. He said the investment to extend Mpumalanga's life beyond 8 years has very strong competition from capital and other scarce resources from a host of other projects in our portfolio, which at current planning assumptions are more attractive. Mpumalanga in particular requires significant fresh capital in order to extend its current life of mine beyond the 8 years contained in reserves, totaling 11.6 million ounces. Dushinsky declined to detail the cash required, but the mine potential had 20 years of mining left. The mining ran right until 2037. Now, this is a huge development. You've got one of the biggest mining companies in the world pulling out of South Africa. Imagine the job losses. It's going to be huge. Proceeds from the divestment would be put primarily towards debt reduction in pursuit of a 1-by ratio of net debt to earnings before interest, tax depreciation and amortization, EBITDA, followed by reinvestment in the firm's other projects and finally dividend distributions to shareholders. Net debt of EBITDA nipped up slightly in the first quarter to 1.27 times from a shade over 1 times in the fourth quarter, which Dushinsky said had been a strong 3 months of operation. A new net debt target of 1 by EBITDA had been set down, the company said in the first quarter presentation, which also showed a free cash flow outside of $109 million. The process has only just started, said Dushinsky, when asked at a media conference whether there had been some interest from buyers early doors. He said, however, that the surface assets included its mine waste solutions, or MWS, were complementary with Mpumalanga and suggested they should be sold as a package. The assets would have to be placed in strong hands with appropriate financial and technical expertise, said Dushinsky. Now, where are you going to find that in South Africa? It's going to be a very interesting thing to watch. Harmony Gold, which bought Meyer Kotsong from AngloGold in 2017 for about $300 million, owns Kusalethu, which borders in Mpumalanga. It might not be the automatic buyer, however, given its investment obligations at the Golpu Wafi prospect in PNG, or Papua New Guinea. Harmony Gold said it was pure speculation to assume it would be a bidder for Mpumalanga. Another growth through acquisition company, Sibanye Stillwater, owns Driefontein, which also neighbours Mpumalanga. There would be regional symmetries that could be extracted, but we are focused on delivering our deleveraging our balance sheet, said James Wellstead, head of investor relations for the company. Sibanye-Stillwater, which today published its first quarter operating update, said net debt of EBITDA had reached to 2.45 times from about 3 times following a metal streaming transaction and separate share placement. The company is also focused on the integration of Lonmin, the platinum group metal producer. Dushnitsky said the company had consulted with unions and the government on the potential divestment. It employed about 6,000 people in South Africa, of which about 5,500 were at Mpumalanga and the surface operations. We will keep stakeholders fully informed, said Dushnitsky, of the sale process. The decision to sell Mpumalanga and MWS represents short work for Dushnitsky since his appointment as CEO, effective as September last year. In 8 months, he has made the final cuts to a global portfolio strategy initially started by predecessor Ventaraskesan. That's a long word, believe me. Okay, let's get back to topic. Dushnitsky announced for the sale of Cerro Vanguardia mine in Argentina in February and the Sadiola mine. In Mali last year, Ventaraskesan wanted to hive off the South African assets, a transaction rejected by shareholders before selling Moab Khotsong. AngloGold is spending $550 million re-engineering and reopening the Abasi gold mine in Ghana for first production at the end of this year, and spending money at Tropicana, its Australian mine. It is also progressing the Gramalote assets in Colombia with its joint venture partner BT Gold. Capital expenditure is expected to range between $910 million and $990 million in the 2019 financial year, of which $390 million to $430 million is in non-sustaining capex. Despite the relatively weak quarters showing, AngloGold said it was sticking to full-year production guidance of 3.25 million to 3.45 million ounces of gold at all-in sustaining costs of $935 to $995 per ounce. Production will be back-weighted, with stronger second half expected for Gato, Seguri and Brazil, said AngloGold in its first quarter presentation. So there you go. One of the biggest mining companies in the world is giving South Africa the boot. 6,000 jobs. Well done, Cyril Ramaphosa. I guess you're going to buy it, aren't you? I wouldn't be surprised. All right, guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates, and have a great evening. Bye for now.